We are relentless, so they will be resilient. Every child deserves the opportunity to break cycles and be successful and reach their full potential. Hi, I'm Terry Sorensen, president of Friends of the Children. I'm excited to share a short video with you that shares and explains our model and shows how each child's story is changed through Friends of the Children.
Every child grows up with a head full of stories, and stories are powerful because the ones we believe about ourselves shape the way we live, the choices we make, and ultimately the story we write for ourselves. For many children growing up in the cycle of generational poverty, the story often goes like this. You have no future, no potential. There's no way out of the world you're born into. Your highest hope is just to survive, just to make it through realities like abuse and neglect. And when you're born into this kind of story, it's not just that your resources are limited, but your vision is limited and your choices are limited. And under the weight of this story, it's nearly impossible for a child not to become the liability they already believe they are, to give up on school, to fall into substance abuse, to become incarcerated, to become parents in their teens. And when they believe this story, a child is destined to pass on these patterns and cause the cycle of generational poverty to continue. And when this story perpetuates across the 2.2 million children in poverty, across cities, across generations, so does the cost that it takes on society. But what if someone were to step in and tell a different story? What if someone said, you're not a burden, you're not a liability, you're an immensely valuable asset, a person that is worth investing in? For over 20 years, Friends of the Children has been telling that story. Friends of the Children is a nonprofit organization that's transforming lives and breaking the cycle of poverty through the power of relationships. We've found that all it takes is one person to show the way out, one person to stay by a child's side for the long haul, no matter what, to enable them to thrive. To that end, children who enter the program are paired with a friend who will guide and support the child for their entire 12-year journey through school, from kindergarten to graduation. These friends are full-time, paid, trained professionals who help children live out a better story every day. This kind of commitment has monumental effects on the system of poverty. Although 60% of these children have had parents incarcerated, 97% avoid the juvenile justice system. Although half of these children have parents who dropped out of high school, 85% graduate. Although 85% of these children were born to a teenage parent, 98% avoid early parenting. These kinds of breakthroughs have the power to change our entire economy. The Harvard Business School Association of Oregon estimates that helping one child live out a new story can save the United States around $900,000. Each dollar invested in a child returns 7 to the community. And what those numbers fall short of capturing is the immeasurable value of changing a life. At Friends of the Children, we've seen success, but there are millions of lives. The price is high, the demand is high, but the rewards are higher. Millions of children need to hear a truer story, a more hopeful story, one with a happy ending. Become a part of that story today.
So how are we different? With 25 years of powerful outcomes, we know that one friend believing in one child over the long haul, 12 and a half years, breaks generational cycles. We select children age 4 to 6 from foster care and high poverty schools and provide them with a friend, a salaried professional mentor for 12 and a half years, kindergarten through graduation. Through no fault of their own, children face extreme instability in our program. By moving mentoring out of the volunteer realm and providing salaried professional mentors, we are breaking generational cycles. We are intentional. Our friends are amazing people hired from the communities we serve. They have a college degree and at least 2 to 3 years experience of working with vulnerable youth. Each friend works with 8 children as their full-time salaried job, with the average friend staying over 7 years. Each friend spends 4 hours a week with every child in the classroom at school, at home, and in their community, building resilience and social and emotional skills that we call core assets. Things like developing a growth mindset, problem-solving skills, and helping a youth find their spark, their special skill and talent, what they're really good at. We are also data-driven and an intentional learning organization. Every friend enters all their time with youth, and they're using performance metrics and scorecards to learn and get better. We have the gold standard of evidence, a randomized control trial, and we're in the 10th year of that study showing the positive impact of our model. But the real power of Friends of the Children is in relationships. And I'm thrilled to share this story of Patrick and his friend Carlos. Carlos selected Patrick for the program at age 5. Patrick was born to a mother who was addicted to drugs, and he never knew his father. Shortly after coming into the program, he was separated from his 5 brothers and sisters and placed into foster care. Throughout the next 12 and a half years, Carlos was there by his side, showing up every week, helping Patrick find his spark, which for Patrick was football and public speaking. Patrick was the very first person in any generation of his family to graduate from high school. And he's gone on to graduate from college, the University of Oregon, where while in college, he testified in front of the Oregon State Legislature to help pass a foster care Bill of Rights. Today, as a college graduate, Patrick works for the Department of Human Services, writing policies that help change the story for foster care youth. But Patrick is just one of thousands of stories of the youth and Friends of the Children. While we started 25 years ago in Portland, Oregon, we now have chapters and affiliates across the country in 15 cities. We have an ambitious goal of reaching 25 communities by 2025 to empower youth and communities. In 2016, we launched a $25 million expansion campaign, and I'm proud to say we've raised over half. And as we expand to new communities, we're helping that community solve their own problems. Our latest expansion in Los Angeles has more foster care youth aging out of the system than anywhere in the country. We were asked to do an innovative pilot where we select the children of those youth who've aged out of foster care. So we're selecting the 4 to 6-year-old children to have a friend and stability for both the children and a role model for the parents. It's a 2-generational model that holds so much promise for prevention of foster care and impact the foster care system in California and throughout the country. Together, we are creating a movement to change the way our country treats the most vulnerable children. Please join us in helping more youth change their story. We are relentless, so they will be resilient.